Hey, Walt here from StogieReview.com with another video cigar review. And as you can see from the wisps of smoke coming off my cigar, the camera is actually picking it up, this is going to be a short ashes review. And ultimately what that means is that I'm going to take that traditional 30-ish minute video that I used to do, or that I like to do, and compress it by quite a bit. And I want to try to keep this review around 10 to 12 minutes and feature a cigar that we've reviewed in the past. Now, this particular cigar I'm reviewing for a couple of reasons. The first reason is it's kind of convenient because I just bought a box about a week and a half ago and I'm burning through them really quickly. I tend to reach for them a lot, and this morning I just felt like having this cigar and a cup of coffee, so I thought, you know what, we'll burn one and then we'll kill two birds with one stone. The other reason is that Mike snaked my review of the Casa Miranda yesterday, and this is kind of last minute. This review, it's about 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. This review was supposed to be posted about 9.5 hours ago, so I'm kind of coming down the wire, and I wanted to do something short and sweet to get it up on the site so that there was some kind of content. I was going to use the excuse that, you know, we had a really busy week with the downtime and I wasn't able to get anything done, but then I felt kind of bad for not putting anything together when everyone else kind of did, and they were dealing with the downtime too. So I couldn't in good conscience slack this week, and you know, I thought I've got to do something. So kill two birds with one stone, smoke the cigar, have a cup of coffee, and just let the camera run. The cigar that I'm smoking is the EP Carrillo Core Line Maduro. Now, I mentioned that we reviewed this cigar in the past, and I believe it was back in August that Brian Hewitt reviewed this particular cigar, even this Vitola, the Encantos, which is a Robusto, which I believe is 4 7/8 by 50. Now, the price on the box of these, I think Mike over at Buckhead, where I bought this cigar, actually has them on sale, and they're listed on his AskTheCigarGuys.com website as $116 a box or $34 a 5-pack. Both include shipping. So when I saw that, I decided to jump on a box and give them a try. The last time I had these was when Ernie Carrillo, or Ernesto Perez Carrillo's son, sent out some samples to bloggers, and he sent out, I believe it was a 5-pack or a 6-pack. I think there were maybe 2 or 3 of the Maduro, 2 of the Core Line, and 1 of the 60 ring gauge New Wave. And when I smoked the cigars, the Maduros, I really enjoyed them, and I wanted to try them again. Unfortunately, it's just really impossible to find anything new locally. I've been having to resort to ordering from Buckhead frequently for anything that's relatively new. And I don't mind buying from Mike. It's just kind of sad that I don't have a place close to home that I can just kind of walk in like Cheers and have everyone say, "Hey, Walt," and just pick up a stick. So you know, Mike's really come through with orders and stuff recently, or actually over the last 6-8 months, maybe a year. I don't even know how long it's been since I've been ordering, but probably a year or better. But Mike's really been coming through, and in this case I got a box of the EP Carrillo Core Line Maduro. And if you're looking for specifics on this cigar, head over or click the link that I'm going to include in this write-up on Stogie Review, and check out Brian's review. He does, you know, he goes all out and has all of the information there. So there's no sense in me regurgitating that information for this short ashes review when you could just check out what Brian has already put together. So with all that kind of rambling out of the way, let's talk about this particular cigar. Now, as you can see, I'm kind of touching this up twice on video, and I hate to do that, but I'm having a little bit of difficulty with the burn on this one. It really hasn't been terrible, but I've got just a little tiny hole in the filler that seems to be causing the cigar not to burn quite properly. The draw is good, smoke volume is good. It's a little dry on the palate, a little bitter. It's got kind of a chocolatey-like flavor. And it's got a little bit of a smoky quality too. like sort of like burning firewood campsite kind of smoky quality. And again, I'm pairing it with coffee, so there's some coffee notes, which are probably coming from aftertaste of the coffee. But that's where we're at so far. I'm going to take a little break. I'll come back. We'll talk more about this cigar, and we'll get this thing underway, or wrapped up, or however I do this short ashes review, because there's no real particular format, and this is just becoming a complete mess. Alright, well, I'm back. I just reviewed the footage that I recorded a few minutes ago that you just watched, and I realized I didn't really do a whole lot of talking about this cigar, so we'll try to focus a little bit more on the cigar and less on the rambling, so that when this is all said and done and you've got a 10, 12, maybe 15-minute video, you've got some good quality cigar content, or at least a good ratio of cigar content to banter. So, you know, while I was smoking a cigar, I had to touch it up a couple of times, and I think it was partly for two reasons. One was I had this little hole in the filler, which normally when I was looking at it, you know, it's not large enough to really cause a lot of trouble. On the other hand, the draw was kind of intermittent. Most times I was getting a good full draw, lots of smoke, and then other times there was a little bit of stiffness. Now, the stiffness, if you bit down on the cigar just a little bit and move the tobacco around, it opened right up. Well, as I'm reviewing the footage, I'm picking the cigar up, puffing on it, sitting it back down in the ashtray, and every once in a while I have to pinch it a little bit to get the draw to come through. But a lot of times, when there's a bit of a restriction there, like for instance, if you use a plug cutter, and there's like a defined channel where the smoke is coming through, sometimes you get some tar buildup there. In this case, I used a polio cutter, guillotine cut, opened the cap up, but there must have been some kind of restriction in there that I was opening up by pinching it, and there was, I don't know, kind of like a clear defined smoke channel in the cigar that didn't include the whole thing. So I was getting some tar buildup. I picked the cigar up one time and I just happened to glance down, and surprise, you know, lots of tar was oozing out of the cigar. So I went through and I reclipped it, and I should probably take a picture of the reclip since I've showed you a picture of what it looked like before the clip. But there was a bit of an issue with tar. Now, I mean, it happens with a lot of cigars. You know, it happens to the best of them, to the worst of them. It doesn't quite matter. If there's a restriction in the draw, sometimes you just get it. And it was the first time I've ever had one with the EP Carrillo Coraline Maduro, but it doesn't seem like a big deal. Just reclip the cigar, and and you know, now we're fresh and clean and ready to start over. But the cigar itself is a bit dry on the palate. It pairs well with coffee because it's got some bitter tones and there's just some bitterness about it. It doesn't, you know, when I smoked those original EP Carrillo Maduro from that sampler that Ernie sent, I was really wowed. I mean, the cigar was fantastic. It was rich, it was bold, it was flavorful. It was just something that I wanted to run out and get more of. This box has been very good. However, it's missing some of the boldness that I remember from the sampler. I don't know whether maybe the blend was tweaked a little bit, or if this is newer in the sense that it wasn't aged as long as the others, but for whatever reason, this doesn't seem as bold as those original samples. This also doesn't look as pretty as those new samples. These are kind of rough looking. The color consistency is I mean, the color consistency throughout the box was pretty good, but the wrappers were kind of mottled. They looked a little rough. You know, some medium-sized veins in there. There was a bit of a rough texture to it. The cigar itself just looked a little rough, but you know, it looked rough, but it didn't look bad. It didn't look like a cheap cigar or anything like that. I just remember, I don't know, maybe I just had such a good experience with those other cigars that this box could not possibly live up to it. But whatever the case is, these are very good. However, I think I like the samplers better, or the sampler better. Either way, it's a good cigar. It's smoking well, and now that the tar is out of the way, it's smoking even better now than it was earlier on. Did a little too much talking, and now I need to touch up the cigar again. Doesn't make this stick look too good that I've had to touch it up a couple of times on camera, but I assure you that it is smoking pretty well. Now that I've reclipped the cigar, the draw is even better than it was. There's no more pinching needed to get a full draw out of it. The smoke volume is excellent. It's nice and dense. It coats the palate well. It's easy to retrohale to get through the sinus. It doesn't beat up the sinus. It's nice and easy on the palate. Gives you a bit of a dry sensation, but it's and I really prefer creamier cigars, but it's good. The flavor profile hasn't changed up much. It's still got some bitterness to it. I'm still getting sort of like a cocoa or a chocolatey flavor out of it, and it has a really nice woody or like wood burning aroma, like smoky kind of again like a campfire kind of aroma coming off the cigar, and I get some of the aroma when I retrohale the smoke. So it's really pleasant, and I like the resting smoke. So all in all, good solid cigar. I think the price is right on it. I don't know what it if you divide the 116 by 20, but it's like five something. But really enjoy the cigars. They're smoking really well, and that's probably going to wrap up this video. I don't want to ramble too much, and I don't know what else to say. So rather than ramble a lot more and get this video really long, which I would kind of like to do just for the sake of talking to the camera, because it's been a little while, but you know, just for sanity's sake, I think I'm gonna keep this fairly short, and I'm gonna kind of get stressed out if I ramble and things get really off topic, and then I have to go back through and I get the urge to re-record sections, kind of like the first section, which I re-recorded 4 times and still wasn't happy with. So again, good solid cigar for the money. Really enjoy it. They're on sale at Buckhead right now. I'm not quite sure how much longer they're going to be on sale, so if you're interested, head over to Buckhead. I don't know if our other sponsors carry them. I would imagine Abe over at Smoke Inn also has them. If you want the convenience of being able to order online, you may be able to get them from Abe. I don't know, check out both sites. Look at Buckhead's website. If you feel like calling, call Mike and place an order. If you would rather just pound on the keys and click on the mouse and order it that way, Abe probably has them. I'm not 100% sure, but he probably has them. Here's that rambling that I didn't want to do, but that's going to close out the video. Thanks for watching. Happy smoking, all that good stuff, and I'm just going to click stop now.